Welcome to this episode of the Metal Verbalizers podcast. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and today I have a new great band to recommend, Dark Mirror of Tragedy. Dark Mirror of Tragedy is a symphonic black metal band from South Korea that was founded in 2003. The band started out as a solo project, but eventually changed into a band of 6 members. I guess we haven't featured that many black metal bands yet on this podcast, but when I found this band, Dark Mirror of Tragedy, I felt that it was time. The subgenre of the bands that I have made most episodes about by far is thrash metal, and obviously I will keep doing that as well. But I also like to kind of like try to, mix it up with some death metal and black metal, such as Dark Mirror of Tragedy. Speaking of, when it comes to Dark Mirror of Tragedy's influences, the band is very influenced by symphonic black metal as a subgenre and kind of like style of music. And also specifically, I would say like bands such as Dimmu Borgir, Karash Angren, and Flesh God Apocalypse, and as well as the band called Devil Doll, so kind of like that style. However, Dark Mirror of Tragedy is also implementing stuff like a lot of heavy metal influences into the music, making them stand out from the before mentioned bands. But I guess all in all, I would probably say that if you like symphonic black metal and that kind of like style of black metal, in kind of the style of those bands like Dimmu Borgir, etc., you should definitely check out Dark Mirror of Tragedy. The lyrical themes of the band's music generally revolves around tragedy, which the band's name suggests, of course. Kind of like the tragedy of human life, which the band is expressing from numerous aspects and perspectives. Both, for example, like both seen from society as a whole, and like kind of like broader picture, the bigger picture, so to speak, but also seen in a more like individual way, I suppose you could call it. The band believes that the existence of human life in itself is like a tragic one, and they want to express that view through their music. The band currently have 4 full-length albums: a self-titled Dark Mirror of Tragedy, The Pregnant of Despair, The Lunatic Chapters of Heavenly Creatures, and The Lord of Shadows. The band also has an EP, a split with a band called Ethereal Sin, and a live album. I don't know, like in my experience, it doesn't seem like it's very common for bands that we talk about here to have released like a live album. But it is pretty cool when they do, I think. I don't know, if it's just me, but it feels like live albums, like in general, aren't as common anymore. I don't know if that's just me, but that's something I've kind of like thought about. But I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of a shame, I think, because I personally like live albums a lot. And anyways, kudos to Dark Mirror Tragedy for doing one. Regarding the band's name, Dark Mirror of Tragedy, and why the band decided to use that name, I think it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like the name originates from the story of Nostradamus, the French astrologer and physicist that lived during the Renaissance. It is said that Nostradamus used a sort of black mirror or dark mirror to foresee future events, and that when viewing through the mirror, it's kind of like Nostradamus saw the tragedy of human life. The band believes that tragedy is an important part of life, and that tragedy can make you stronger. It's kind of like a lot of people want to hide from tragedy, but like being able to face tragedy instead and kind of like, I suppose, sustain it can make you really think about why you live. That's kind of like the whole concept by the band to using that name. And I mean, I guess all this considered, a name like Dark Mirror of Tragedy, I don't know, at least to me it makes a lot of sense for a band like this, for like a symphonic black metal band with this kind of like theme, to have that kind of name. It's really like directly connected to kind of like what I think is the like overall concept, and kind of like the overall I guess you could say like the vision the band seems to be like kind of going for. And like I think I've mentioned that a little bit before, that is something I really like when bands do that, to kind of like have different aspects, I guess you could say, about the band, like the band name, the album titles, and you know, the album covers, to kind of like being linked together and kind of like forming this whole being, so to speak. That's something I really like, and that's something that I would kind of like describe this as well. That is like the kind of like theme of the band and the lyrics and all that is like really like directly tied into the band name. And again, that is something that I really appreciate and something I really like with bands. So that's something I like a lot about Dark Mirror of Tragedy as well, you know. When it comes to Dark Mirror of Tragedy's plans for the future, they are going on a tour with Flesh God Apocalypse in October. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. And if they are playing near you, I would definitely recommend going there. In addition to this, the band will also prepare for their upcoming album. I don't know exactly when that will be released, because I haven't been given any date or such when that's supposed to be released or anything like that. So I guess all I can say right now is that I would encourage you to keep your eyes open for that as well. Having said that, I believe this is a great way to end the episode. We at Metal Verbalizers really appreciate that you've been listening to this episode until the end. And if you enjoy this episode, then it would be great if you'd like to give us a follow and help us spread the word about all these awesome bands. This way you can support both us as a podcast, but also, of course, the bands that we are verbalizing to help reach more people. We will be back to you next week with more verbalizing.